Well, a good label tells you so much about the wine inside the bottle, but learning how to decode the label, that's the challenge. Well, that's where our next guest comes into the picture. Wine curator Lynn joins us now in the Kitchen Saver Kitchen with a lesson. So welcome back. How are you?
Hello. How are you today?
I'm doing really good. I'm really glad we're talking about this because, yes, oh my goodness, it can be so confusing. First of all, when you go into, your local wine store, there's so many bottles to choose from, one, right? And then you look at the label, I should say, and it could be a little confusing, right?
It can.
So please help us.
Yes.
Help us, teach us a thing or two, right? We're gonna start with, this bottle over here. You brought 4 bottles and break it down for us.
Yeah, so every bottle tells a story for you. And one thing about it is you want to start with the producer. The producer is who makes the wine.
Okay, and where do you find that on the label?
That is the first part right there. Absolutely.
Ah, okay.
So this is the producer who makes the wine, and just a little thing about producers. Some smaller producers produce big quality. So don't sleep on your smaller producers.
Okay, I like
and
that.
then second, we want to go into the region, and that's where the wine is made. And where the wine is made, it matters. For instance, Pinot Noir from Oregon will taste very different from a Pinot Noir from Burgundy, France.
Right,
Yes.
yeah.
So then next we want to go with our grape variety.
Okay, got it.
Our grape variety that matters, that is your clue to the flavor of the wine.
Okay.
And
where do we find that on the bottle, the grape
if we talk about
variety?
The grape variety, like the Rioja or Tempranillo, this is a wine from Spain, so it's very good. And I'm going to talk about that too, about switching up, trying something a little different.
And then what about the vintage? Like
vintage,
when it says like the year?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Vintage. This Anjou from France. It's a 2008. My eyes
I see that right there.
Bit. Yeah, it's a 2008. So
and what does that mean?
That's when the grapes were harvested. So that's very important. That's going to give you the viscosity of the wine, the elegance, the long-lasting finish. The longer the wine is aged. Kind of the nuances of it are like really important and really explosive in some cases.
And that's why people say, oh, you're aging like fine wine, right?
And yes, we are.
For sure. Yes. Okay, and then tell us some other things about this. What else does the label tell us about this one?
So the label tells you the producer, where it's made, the appellations, and Anjou is the name Anjou. In English, we would probably say Anjou, but that's the French name. And like I said, the region. Another thing that we want to talk about is the lingo of the wine. The lingo, so the dry. So we're talking about a Rioja or a Tempranillo. The dry means not sweet. So it's a liquid, just has no sugar. Yes, and then we want to talk about the body of the wine. So if you're drinking like a sparkling rosé here,
which is perfect for the summer.
Perfect for the
it's
summer.
National Rosé Month, I heard.
Absolutely. And this Villa Mantelli from the Sove region of Veneto, Italy, is absolutely wonderful. But the body of the wine, let's say skim milk. Skim milk, it's light, light body. Full-bodied would be like whole milk, let's say. So, you deal with that in the nuances of the wine. And then you have, let's talk about, I would say, the tannins. So the tannins of the wine, the drying feeling. Sometimes people will say, oh, that's dry or that's bitter. We say bold in the wine world. And that just means that that's from the red wine, that's the drying sensation. So you want to think about something like black tea, that same puckering sensation. Where you would deal with probably a crisper, lighter wine, you wouldn't have that sensation. So from like a oaked or unoaked wine, an unoaked is crisper and more refreshing. Oaked wine is aged in barrels and it is more toastier and pungent, kind of. Not really a pungent, I don't want to say that word, but more of a bolder taste.
I was going to say bold. Okay, and what about this one? Let's take everything that we've learned about the producer, the region, the grapes, the vintage. What does this label tell us?
Yes, so Landcastle, this is a German wine. One thing, I'm a woman about labels. I love the look of the label.
Okay.
So we have
Yeah, just even the design.
yes,
Okay.
the design. We have the maker. We have the type of wine. It's a sweet red. It's from Germany, and it just tells the story of what you're going to have. Don't be afraid to ask if you're in a store. You know,
ask some questions,
the
right?
wine expert. You know. First thing to look at is, what is your occasion? Are you going out for dinner? Is it a gift? Or is it for a night in?
Special occasion.
Do you want red? Do you want white?
Okay.
You know, what are you eating?
For sure.
Yes, and for all curated experiences, and to find out more about Vin Collective, you can find me on Facebook, Vin Collective, Vin.collective on Instagram, and Vin-collective.com on the web.
Awesome. Okay, she took the words right out of my mouth, but the website's listed there on your screen. Thank you so much for this lesson in wine. We appreciate it. Janelle.